Welcome back, folks, to the Random Video Blog, our second ever in 2016. I'm Graham GSM Matthews, where every single Friday I give my rambling thoughts in the wrestling world, share some stories, etc., etc. And what a week it's been in wrestling. My voice is still shot, not only from marking out that AJ Styles might be coming to WWE, which I'll get to in a second, but my throat, I've just been completely just shot all week, just health-wise. Not completely sick or anything like that, but my voice was gone when I hung out with John on Monday. And Tuesday, too, when we were just playing SVR07 all night and watching Raw and WWE Network and recording #AskGSM. I've done a lot of talking all week long. It's been a big week. John Cena injured, maybe missing WrestleMania. It's been a very notable week in wrestling, for better and for worse. But it's funny because I've been planning to do this video on top 5 wrestlers I want to see in WWE/NXT for a couple of months now. I've had this rough sketch of things I want to talk about here in the video blog for several months, dating back to maybe November or December or whatever. And so I write down all these ideas. I can do this for the video blog on this week, blah, blah, blah. And I was going to do this right after James Storm came to WWE or NXT rather, in October. And because around that time my laptop was shot, my computer was shot, so I couldn't do any video blogs for a couple of weeks and whatever. So I talked about something else instead. So I didn't do a video blog that week. So I delayed the idea to do it this week. I've had this idea down on the WrestleRant, or rather the Friday random video blog schedule for a couple of weeks now, okay? And the timing could not have been better, with the news breaking, as I mentioned, on Monday, that AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, Doc Gallows, and Carl Anderson might be WWE bound, all from New Japan. It's a huge get for WWE if true. And it looks like it is. AJ Styles was kicked out of the Bullet Club the very next day after the news broke. WWE ran a story on it on their website, which they never do, which they don't, I can't even say don't typically do. They rarely do that. I don't think I've ever seen that before in my life, when they speculate on rumors of someone coming over. Not, we've signed this person like a Kevin Owens or a Hideo Itami or a Prince Devitt, Finn Balor, or whatever, all of whom got articles on the website when they signed. None of them were like, oh, we might be signing this person. There's rumors going around that we might be acquiring this talent, And of course they wanted to do it to drive the web traffic to their website, which is completely understandable. But it's looking like, otherwise, if it was like a fucking, I don't know, if it was somebody that would never come to WWE or someone who had buzz that was never coming, they wouldn't write that on their website, unless they had an inkling of an idea that they might be coming over. And it looks like they are, which is amazing. Styles more so than the other guys. Everyone is coming, it looks like, but Styles quicker than the other guys, it looks like, because his contract with New Japan is already up. He's done with Ring of Honor. He might be here as soon as the Rumble, as far as I'm concerned. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, so like I said, no better week to do this video blog of 5 wrestlers that I want to see in WWE/NXT. Originally, I put down NXT on the video blog here on 5 wrestlers I want to see in NXT. But with it being rumored that Styles might be coming to the WWE's main roster, I changed the title of this video to WWE/NXT. So number 1 on my list is the person who, coincidentally enough, I mentioned right here on the video blog 1 week ago. And maybe because I'm mentioning this now, all these other people will be WWE bound by the end of the year. I don't count on it, but you never know. I just said it literally last Friday that I wanted to see in 2016 Styles come to WWE. 3 days later, the news breaks that he's coming to the company. So who knows? We'll see. But of course, number 1 on my list is AJ Styles. He was already number 1 on my list before all this news broke. I'll keep him as number 1. These are in no order. These are just out there. It's not like person I most want to see in WWE and least want to see in WWE. I want to see all these guys in WWE. There's no specific order, but I figured I would start with Styles because 1, he's the most notable name. He's the person I've wanted in WWE for years now. And 3, it's looking like he will be coming sooner rather than later. But I talked about it on Twitter, WrestleRant Radio, on Facebook this past week. But AJ Styles has been undoubtedly my favorite TNA wrestler of all time. Magnus is up there. A few others are up there as well, but no one ever came close to AJ Styles. Same thing with Beer Money. They're also up there, but Bobby Roode and James Storm. But AJ Styles has been my favorite TNA wrestler since I started watching TNA in August of 2008. And of course, he left in 2013. And it boggled my mind that WWE didn't even bother showing interest in this guy when he left TNA. According to him, according to the shoot interviews, WWE didn't even bother sending out feelers to Styles or whatever. They didn't even consider bringing him in, which was, like I said, mind-boggling to me, considering how great of a talent he is. Maybe it took him some time to get off that TNA stench, who knows, but I figured that they would have at least reached out to him and asked him, hey, are you interested in coming in for a developmental deal for WWE's main roster, whatever. Nope. According to him, they never even came close to approaching him, which was asinine to me. And he said the same thing this past year, too, or in 2015. I remember around my birthday reading something in late May, early June that WWE had no intentions of bringing him in, or he was happy where he was at, New Japan, and if he never went to WWE, he would be happy with that. And I figured, you know what? As long as he's happy, that's all that matters to me. Selfishly speaking, I've always wanted to see him in WWE, but if he never comes and he's having too much fun over in Japan, that's completely fine with me. But now with the rumors running rampant that he might be coming to WWE, I'm bouncing off the walls. I'm jumping through windows. I am so excited. The timing couldn't be better. Now with, John Cena's out, maybe he can take a spot. I'm not saying it like that, but with the Rumble coming up, with the WrestleMania coming up, with so many people out injured, now is the time to bring in Styles. Not to NXT, which would be amazing, maybe for a potential feud with Balor, considering on the WWE website they acknowledged the Bullet Club narrative, which is awesome. Now Styles kicked Balor out of Bullet Club back in 2014. Not even that, but I mean, those two could have a great feud, but WWE's main roster is in need of some real stars right now. Whether they would use them properly is always the ever-ending question. Are they going to use Finn Balor properly, Kevin Owens properly, Hideo Itami properly, AJ Styles, Luke Gallows, Shinsuke Nakamura? You know, it's a question we all ask. It's an obvious question, but you can't live in fear. You gotta try, and at least we can say AJ Styles was in WWE. I know Sting's run in WWE did not light the world on fire, but that being said, I really honestly feel that it's great that I can finally say AJ Styles was in WWE. Nothing is set in stone as of right now, but I'm just saying that I'd rather have Styles come into WWE and not do hot rather than stay in New Japan and, not know what could have been in WWE. So number 2 on my list, let me pull up the rest of my list here because I know AJ Styles off the top of my head. Number 2 on people that I want to see in WWE/NXT include, drumroll please, Bobby Roode from TNA. I tried to get a different person from each promotion for the most part. The first 3 guys are either in TNA or from TNA, but number 2 on my list is Bobby Roode. He's stuck with TNA through thick and thin when everyone else is gone. He was really the only guy that kept me watching TNA through the last couple of months with the World Title Series that I did not give 2 shits about. Other than the Hardys, and Kurt Angle wasn't even wrestling at that time. He was really one of the shining spots about TNA because he's a great star. And I've said this forever. I've said this for 2 or 3 years now. The guy's got all the tools to be a big WWE star. He's got the look of what WWE looks for in their main eventers. I'm not saying if they brought him in today, he would be a world champion just because he's in his late 30s, mid 30s now. So I think his time has passed in terms of being like a world champion. And he's no AJ Styles. He's not world renowned, but still he's an amazing talent. Great mic skills, great in-ring technique. He's really grown on me. I always loved his work as Beer Money. Always loved his work as Beer Money. My favorite tag team probably of all time. In just wrestling in period. Not even in TNA, just wrestling period. But he really broke out to me. He really kind of had that breakout performance. He really started shining to me around late 2011, early 2012 when he won the World Heavyweight Championship, turned on James Storm, became a heel, and did some of the best work of his career as the longest reigning TNA World Heavyweight Champion in the company's history. And I thought he, in the last couple of years, have been great. I mean, they haven't really utilized him to his full potential more often than not, but he's made the most of what he's had, both as a babyface and as a heel, as a tag team champion, world champion, whatever, Legends champion, King of the Ring champion, or King of the fucking Mountain champion, whatever the hell they're calling that little red toy belt these days. But regardless, it's cool that he's Beer Money is back. TNA, that they got that going for him. I wasn't really all that thrilled to see James Storm back in TNA as opposed to in NXT, but he is. I feel like he can be a very valuable asset to WWE. Maybe not as a main roster guy, but in NXT. Beer Money alone in NXT and WWE would be amazing. I don't really count on it ever happening, but it would be fantastic. I don't know if they would call them alcohol currency or whatever, but and I patent that to Clark Mora on Twitter. He gave me that idea many months ago when James Storm first came to NXT, but Bobby Roode would be a great asset to the WWE or NXT brands. So coming in at number 3 on my list is none other than Austin Aries, who had talks with NXT with WWE about a month or so ago. I remember reading reports that he was backstage at one of the tapings in early December, mid-December, I forgot when it was, but he's another guy who I felt WWE really dropped the ball on, or missed the boat with, rather, I guess is the right verbiage, because he's never been in WWE, but rather they had the opportunity to sign him. He tried out for the 2011 Tough Enough. That was won by Andy Levine, whatever the hell his name was, and that Cameron came out of. I mean, that was a great show, but they never signed any of the good people, and they hired all the shitty people. Anyway, I believe he was supposed to be part of that show, but the WWE producers, maybe Kevin Dunn or whoever, said that he was too small and they didn't want him. Now, Matt Cross, who was also a very established indie star at that time, was on the show. He didn't last very long for stupid reasons, not anything that was his fault, I personally believe, but he didn't last very long. So even if Austin Aries was on there, he probably would not have won, and they would have got rid of him almost immediately because they didn't want any indie guys. They wanted what they thought would be a big star in WWE, homegrown, never been on the indies, whatever. And that was their mindset 5 years ago. Back in 2011, if they signed Austin Aries then, or even fucking AJ Styles or Balor or Joe or anybody, guarantee you they wouldn't have succeeded. I mean, granted, a lot of people said that about Daniel Bryan and CM Punk, but this was before, early 2011 was before they really broke out. CM Punk was a former world champion, sure, but over on SmackDown and on Raw, but for a cup of coffee, let's face it. He was never one of the company's biggest stars until he really broke out that summer. Daniel Bryan broke out later on that year as well, going into 2012, while CM Punk was already WWE champion for a lengthy period of time and was already an established main event guy, and that they proved they can get over, and they can establish, they can connect with crowds. They can be a draw for WWE. So anyway, Austin Aries, despite his small size, I feel like would be an amazing asset to NXT. I hoped he would show up at the London special last month. Of course, that did not come to fruition. I have heard nothing more about him being in WWE just because he was at those tapings. He didn't wrestle at those tapings. He didn't appear before the live crowd, and that was it. So maybe talks went south. I'm not exactly sure. And when them bringing in so many stars as they are right now in Styles, Nakamura, and the Bullet Club members, they may not have much room for Austin Aries right now, but hopefully down the line I feel like he would be a great asset to WWE. Maybe not for his size, like I mentioned, the guy is on the smaller side, but that doesn't even matter. The guy is so amazing in the ring, and as a mic worker, as a talker. It doesn't matter how small you are. Just look at Daniel Bryan. I think I'm taller than him. I met him a couple years ago. I think I was taller than him. And that guy main evented WrestleMania, so you never know. And won the main event of WrestleMania, mind you. Coming in at number 4 on my list is another individual that I've talked about at length before, on Wrestle Rant Radio and other venues and other places. Adam Cole, Ring of Honor, I feel like is a surefire WWE pickup at some point. He's still relatively young. I was surprised they didn't pick him up last year or in late 2014 or 2013. Excuse me, when it was rumored that he did a tryout for WWE and he never signed. He stuck with Ring of Honor. I don't know how long his current contract lasts. Maybe it might expire this year, next year, I don't know. I said the same thing about Styles, and apparently it expired this year, so you never know. But Adam Cole is another guy who I wasn't watching Ring of Honor during the time that he just started out, whatever. But in the time I have been watching Ring of Honor since about the summer of 2014, took a break and got back into it over this past summer, the guy has it all. He's got the look. The look alone, a lot like Bobby Roode. He's got that look where you look at him, he's like, that's it. That's what WWE needs. That's what they look for in their guys. This guy can be a star, and he's on the young side, so he has plenty of time for them to sign him, like I mentioned. But not only that, not only does he have the look, a lot of people have the look. That doesn't always mean, granted, they should sign him. No, but if you go beyond that, he was kind of a vanilla babyface early on in his run in Ring of Honor. But when he really, after he won the world title and really started to evolve and become this great heel and one of the most over acts in the entire company, a part of the kingdom, he's become probably, along with Jay Lethal, probably their biggest star in the entire promotion. The guy is that great. And I've really enjoyed his work, both as a babyface and as a heel the last couple of years. And again, as great as he's done in Ring of Honor, he's already been world champion, he's been tag team champion, he's done pretty much everything for the most part. I'm not saying that's a reason to leave, but it's a reason to maybe think about bigger challenges and going elsewhere to kind of, kind of go elsewhere and accomplish new things, and strive for even more success on the outside world, and that being WWE. He can always thrive on the indies. I know he was on Sam Roberts' podcast this past week, and he said, the first year after you're done with a major promotion, you're back on the indies, you're a hot star because they haven't seen you in a while, blah, 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 which makes perfect sense. So once he's done with Ring of Honor and PWG and wherever he's wrestling, he might take about a year off and then go to WWE or TNA or wherever. But again, a lot of people have sung his praises. I will do no different. The guy is great. He's got the full package and would be, he looks like a certified WWE guy. Just from one look at him, he could be a very big star in WWE if they booked him properly. So also, before I get to number 5 here, I will throw in a bonus one, because I know AJ Styles technically might not count, because technically he hasn't signed yet, so he does count, but that might be kind of an easy answer just because he already is on his way to WWE. I'll throw in Jay Lethal too. I just mentioned him. He's another guy I've been a fan of his since his TNA days in Lethal Consequences when he was doing the Ric Flair stuff, which I thought he really broke out, and then after that, TNA did nothing with him. But in TNA, or rather in Ring of Honor, the last year or two, ever since he won that world title back in June, and he joined up with Truth Martini as the ROH television champion, world champion, as a heel, the guy has been on fucking fire. Probably one of, if not the greatest wrestler in the world today. Amazing matches. You could do a little bit more to turn the crowd on him, granted, but other than that, he's a great heel. He gets great heat. He knows who he is, and on top of that, he's an amazing wrestler. And just because you're a great wrestler doesn't mean, you belong in WWE. There's a lot of guys who are great wrestlers and never got over in WWE because they didn't have the charisma, they didn't have the personality. Daniel Bryan sure as hell didn't when they first signed him, but he developed that personality over time. Jay Lethal was that guy. What I knew him for early on in TNA was his Ric Flair impersonations and whatever, and his Macho Man impersonations, obviously, moreover than anything else. But since then, he's established his own identity as Jay Lethal, not as a Ric Flair knockoff or Black Machismo, which was great, don't get me wrong, but he's a lot more than a comedy guy. So I'll throw that in there, Jay Lethal. I don't think at this point, I heard WWE was interested, which doesn't surprise me. Those rumors kind of started after he won the Ring of Honor World Championship, and that's when he was at his most hottest, and he still is hot in Ring of Honor, and that was really, not when he peaked, but when he really started coming into his own as the top guy in that promotion. So it didn't really surprise me that WWE was interested in signing him. He would be an awesome pickup for NXT or WWE. So moving forward here to number 5, and the 5th and final entry on my list, is none other than Okada from, again, New Japan. I wanted to kind of get a variety from TNA, Ring of Honor, the independent scene, and New Japan. And Nakamura is another one that I would love to see in WWE if that does come to fruition. But I already mentioned Styles, and Nakamura would kind of be included in that because, and again, I do not watch New Japan. I do not watch New Japan Pro Wrestling. I probably should. On Access Television or wherever it airs, I don't. I just don't have the time, unfortunately. I don't know where to watch it anyway. I don't have New Japan World. I don't really want to have New Japan World because I know I wouldn't watch it. Not because it's not good. I just don't have the time. That said, I did watch the Wrestle Kingdom pay-per-view from last year. I'm hoping to watch this year's one in the next couple of days when I get some time to watch it. And he really stood out to me as a star. And that kind of goes without saying if you're a follower of New Japan Pro Wrestling. I believe he was in the main event against Tanahashi or whoever. In a great main event. I believe they had a rematch this past year, which again I'm hoping to watch at some point this upcoming weekend. But he's another guy who screams star. And I believe he was the one that was in TNA for a cup of coffee as like Samoa Joe's henchman or something stupid like that, and they really did nothing with him at all. They had some racist Japanese stereotypes, which WWE is obviously guilty of, even more than TNA, and kind of playing up those racial, Japanese stereotypes, which are so stupid. But anyway, if he was the same one that was in TNA many years ago, I am shocked they wasted that guy because he is a massive star, probably the biggest star that New Japan has. And I don't know if it was him or Tanahashi or somebody else from New Japan that when they commented on would you like to be in WWE, I believe, isn't Okada the Rainmaker? I'm pretty sure he is. But one of them said, would you like to be in WWE? He said, absolutely not. I'm going to be in New Japan for the rest of my career. So it might have been Okada, but then again, Sting has said that. AJ Styles has said that, and he might be WWE bound. Sting is already there. So you never know with these people, whether they might jump ship to the head company, WWE, the biggest promotion in the world. Maybe not the best promotion, of course, but the biggest wrestling promotion in the world today. So if he wants to make that money rain, see what I did there? It was an awful pun. I'm sorry. I take that back. But if you really wanted to make some big bucks, WWE would be the place to go. Again, I don't know if they would use him properly. Nakamura's on his way there. If I was Okada and I wanted to go to WWE, there was a small glimmer of hope that I wanted to be there just to see what it would be like. I would wait and see what they do further with Itami. I mean, he was there for a couple months and they used him pretty well in NXT. Nakamura might be main roster bound, not main event bound. Maybe, who knows? But main roster bound as soon as he gets there. If I was Okada, I would wait to see what they do further with Itami and what they do with Nakamura, and whether they waste him, whether he's on Superstars after a month, or he's going to be a big deal, and they treat him like the big deal that he is, because the guy is fucking great. So again, run through my list, the bonus one being Jay Lethal, but the 5 wrestlers that I want to see in NXT and /WWE, NXT or WWE, or both. AJ Styles, Bobby Roode, Austin Aries, Adam Cole, and Okada. So I would love to hear from you guys, either in the comment section below on Twitter, tweet me at WrestleRant, or on Facebook. Find me there at facebook.com/GrahamDeadUsum.Matthews. I want to hear what you guys have to say and who you would like to see in WWE or NXT, or both, as I mentioned. Either from TNA, Ring of Honor, Lucha Underground. Oh, Pentagon Jr. I forgot about him. He's my favorite wrestler in that entire promotion in Lucha Underground, as well as Son of Havoc and Evil East. All 3 of those people I would love to see in WWE. I forgot to mention them here. I can't believe I forgot to mention them, but anyway, I would love to hear from you guys and who you would like to see in WWE or NXT, from Ring of Honor, TNA, Lucha, New Japan, or just the indies in the independent scene in general. So on that note, guys, I am very much looking forward to seeing whether AJ Styles does come over or not. It's looking like he will. It's all a matter, at this point, it looks like it's a matter of when and not if. And hopefully, fingers crossed, people, it's at the Royal Rumble. No better place, and I'm not saying he needs to win. Oh my god, if he won, I'd fucking probably have a heart attack. But even if he was in it alone and he got tossed out in 2 seconds, as long as he's in the Rumble itself, I'd probably go through that window right there. And I know you can't see it, but there is a window right there. I would probably jump through it, call Home Depot, have them build it back up, replace the glass, and then jump through it again, knowing that AJ Styles is in WWE. I've been excited all week long, knowing that he might be coming. The other guys are great too, but AJ Styles, man. AJ fucking Styles, get ready to fly. So until next time, guys, have a great rest of your weekend. I'm Graham GSM Matthews, and I'll catch you folks down the road.